Showtime. Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate seeing you. You folks actually get a bonus today. Bonus is that usually when we do these seminars on cutting the cord, we have hundreds of people here. At least 100. This room is packed. And so the bonus to you is it'll be quieter. You'll be able to ask questions more easily. And we're actually recording this, and we're going to put the recording on our website, so it'll be a cleaner recording, because it's hard when there's 100 people here. So getting a little feedback here. I'm Jerry Hafer. I represent AMAC and the AMAC Foundation. Now, I'm going to ask the question, how many of you are aware of AMAC? Excellent, excellent. That proves to me that we're beginning to get noticed. AMAC has been an organization since 2007, so relatively new, but AMAC's mission is to advocate for issues important to seniors. And the AMAC acronym is the Association of Mature American Citizens, and we are the conservative alternative. I won't say to who, I will just say we're the alternative, the conservative alternative. And we advocate for issues of importance to seniors like Social Security, health care. And as an example, in Social Security, we currently have a bill that is going to be introduced in Congress relatively soon called the Social Security Guarantee Act of 2017. We're going to rename it to 2018. But we have been advocating for about 5 years now to preserve Social Security. I'm sure you've read somewhere along the line that Social Security is going to become insolvent at some point. We have a plan to fix that without raising taxes. And it's been actuarially verified, and so we're going to have that submitted in Washington for congressional deliberations relatively soon, because politically the can just keeps getting kicked down the road. And the time is now. It's not a self-correcting problem. So anyway, that's just an example of the kinds of things that AMAC does. I represent also the AMAC Foundation. I'm the executive director of the AMAC Foundation. And the AMAC Foundation's mission is to support and educate America's seniors. We are a nonprofit, and we operate on contributions from the public. And we serve the public in a number of different ways. I want to show you a very brief video that we have prepared. Excuse me. Okay, that's our very brief marketing video that we do. Just, yes, sir.
It didn't say in there at all if you were a 501(c)(3).
We are. We are indeed. Okay. I'll see if we can get that edited in. That is a key point.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we are a 501c3.
From the Senior Savings Network, and today I want to talk about
Technologies. The AMAC Foundation has been in existence since 2013, but actually 2014 was our first year of operation. So we're relatively new. We've come a long way in 4.5 years. And that Social Security Advisory Service that was mentioned in the video is our primary service. That's our flagship project that we operate. And there are 4 of us that are certified to answer questions about Social Security because, quite frankly, there is no place you can go to get credible information about Social Security options. And we know that is a problem, and so we stepped in to try to fix it. And we handle roughly 500 inquiries a month. It's open to the public, it's free to the public, and it's nationwide. In fact, it's international. Just within the past 2 weeks, we got an inquiry from somebody who lives in Guam. A U.S. citizen, but they live in Guam. So now we can say it's an international service. So, but it is something that we're really proud of. We take it very seriously, and inquiries that we get, we can answer some of those questions in 5 minutes, and some of those take 5 hours. It just depends on the nature of the question and the person's individual situation. And that's what we do. We analyze your individual situation and find out what the options are that are best for you. And again, that's not a service you can really get anywhere. The seminars that we do, the workshops and seminars that were mentioned in the video, we do usually 2 a month on average. Topics ranging from Social Security basics, Medicare basics. We do a seminar in the fall just before open enrollment for people that may have questions about Medicare. It's called New to Medicare. We do technical subjects. We do subjects on aging benefits that benefit people that are aging, caring for the caregiver, for example. And then about a year ago, we were just kind of threw it open to one of our audiences about, can you give us some suggestions of topics that might be of interest? And I wasn't getting anything, and somebody in the front row said, I wish they could tell me how to get rid of my cable company. And that kind of created a ripple. And so we decided that, gee, this is a topic that I think a lot of people, not necessarily just seniors, but a lot of people are interested in. And so I immediately approached my good friends at Best Buy and asked them to come work with us and put together a seminar called Life After Cable or Cutting the Cord, except the misnomer there is you can't really completely cut the cord, and they'll explain that. But we advertised this program in summer of 2017, and it was overwhelming. And this is like, I think, the 6th time that we've done this. And those first 5 times, by the time the ad came out announcing it, it was full, just from people calling in and hearing about it. And so that's what I meant earlier when you folks have the benefit of a smaller audience, so this will be a more controlled environment for you. But these guys do an incredible job, and they can answer any questions that you have about the options that are available, the things that are available on the marketplace, what you need to access them and implement them in your home, and also what you can and can't give up relative to the cable company. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Zach Newman, and he's our primary speaker, and I'll ask him to introduce his 2 colleagues, and they'll take it from here.
I've got one.
You got one?
Yep. All right, my name's Zach. I'm one of the advanced repair agents at Geek Squad. I fix most of the computers that come in. This is Agent Marshall and Agent Kevin. They work the front counter, and they do really well at this. So pretty much today, we're going over how to pretty much get rid of your cable. Not necessarily your cable, but more your television, have other options. Now, one thing to know is that you still have to have an internet connection. So like, let's say you're using Bright House or Spectrum, Comcast, CenturyLink. You still need them to get your internet. So, but you don't necessarily have to use them for cable or telephone if you're using a cell phone. If you wanna. So some of the things we're gonna be covering today are streaming services, which is like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and then also streaming devices. So this would be like, devices would be how to get those streaming services. So devices, so let's say you have an old TV, that's not considered smart, which you can connect these streaming devices to that, and so you'll be able to watch these streaming apps on the TV. All right, go ahead. So what we're going to start out on is Netflix. Excuse me. Now, sorry, they actually just raised their prices recently, so the slides don't reflect that just yet. We're going to update those. But, so the Netflix has 3 different options available. You got basic, which that price is the same, $7.99. Then you have standard, which is $10.99. And then premium, which is $13.99. Now, the differences here, now, when I say streaming services, like Netflix, what they do is they take shows and they stream it to your computer. You're not having to, or TV, tablet, phone. You don't have to download anything. You don't have to purchase anything. You pay these guys a monthly fee, and they pretty much show you all their content. And there's nothing to record. There's not a time limit to watch them, so you don't have to say, oh, at 5 o'clock this show airs. The show's always there. Well, stipulation on that, but it's pretty much always there. You pick and choose what time you want to watch it. It's just there, and you find it. So for Netflix, their basic package does not include HD content, which is high definition content, which most TVs are HD now. And you can only watch it on one screen at a time. So let's say you have 2 televisions in your house, you can only watch it on one television, not both. You can watch it on your laptop, TV, phone, tablet, unlimited movies and shows. There's no extra thing you have to pay for to get extra channels. It's just all there, you choose what you want. There's no hidden fees or nothing. You can cancel at any time. And just know that with Netflix, the first month is free. You sign up, test it out, see if you like it. If you don't, just cancel it. So it's kind of like a free thing. You just check it out. Standard, which is the next package over, does include HD content, and it upgrades the amount of devices you can connect to 2 devices. So you can have those 2 televisions and watch Netflix on both. And you can watch different content at the same time. So it doesn't have to be the same thing. So you can watch one show in one bedroom and have something else going on in the other. Pretty much the rest is the same. Now the premium upgrades your devices to 4. So you can have 4 devices simultaneously. Now what I mean, you can have Netflix installed on as many devices as you want. It's just watching things simultaneously. So I personally have my phone, I got a tablet, I've got a computer, and another computer. I got TVs. They all got my Netflix signed in. Just only 4 at once can be watching at the same time. And also includes Ultra HD. So that's your 4K content. So that's like the new, I won't say standard yet, but it's coming to be the new standard, is 4K. Those are your high-end TVs. And the resolution, and it looks really good. That picture looks really crisp, bright colors, and so while yes, you're gonna have shows that are Ultra HD, you can watch them on any of those standard or basic. Just if you want to watch it in the higher res, you have to purchase the premium. But they're still going to be available to watch regardless of which one you have. So it's not like saying you can't watch these shows if you're not paying for the premium. It's not like that. You can't watch them at the higher res unless you pay for it. Yes, sir.
I was told by someone that they will throttle back if the bandwidth is getting restricted. I think that's bandwidth. How do I know that's happening at my house?
So what to actually mean by that is Netflix is one of the only streaming services that, let's say that you're on a very low connection, like very low, like for some reason you're like on your phone and you got a very low connection signal. It's one of the only streaming services that will actually allow you to watch that content on a very low signal strength. So it's going to throttle that back that content and the quality to something where even your low signal strength can handle. So that's what they were talking about. So like let's say you had, for some reason you were running dial-up, which I hope no one's on dial-up anymore. Netflix will it'll push itself down and the quality down to where even that can handle it and watching it more smoothly. And that's what they're talking about. And you're really not going to need to know when that's happening. It just does it automatically. And your content might look not as good, but as long as your signal strength is fine, it's going to play at the most premium quality it can go.
I don't want to tie this thing up, but
Go ahead.
I'm going to address later, like, I have a router in there and I have several TVs and so on and so forth. How do I know I have enough of a modem or whatever it is that brings it into the internet?
So his question was, he has multiple devices, and how does he know if his router is capable of handling all those devices and all the speeds? It depends on how many devices you have and how much you're using consecutively. So if you got to think about TVs, computers, phones, tablets, any smart devices like smart locks, Google Homes, personal assistants. Any of these devices are connected to your router, and so you want to make sure you do have a good enough router that can handle it all. I would recommend, if you think that you have a lot of devices connected, that you probably don't want to use your common router modem combo that you get from your ISP. So if Comcast gave you a box to use for theirs, that's not the best type of router. It's fine if you only have a couple devices, but if you have a lot of devices or a lot of people are there, and even if not a lot of people, let's just say you have a lot of smart devices, those basic ones aren't going to be able to handle everything and not as well. So I would look at maybe upgrading to a better router. We can, if you always come in fact, I usually say this till the end, but we do offer what's called IHAs at the store. If you come in, it's a woman named Jessica. You just say you want to have someone come out to the house and do a consultation on whether, like, on streaming and cutting the cord. She comes out to the house, it's free, and she just consults you on what your routers are, what kind of options you have that's personalized to your house and what you need. And she's trained in pretty much everything: appliances, home theater, laptops, computers, cutting the cord, smart devices. In fact, she's considered the best in the nation right now. So she's really good, it's free, and she can come out there and do a consultation for you. You just come in and ask to see if you can have a consultation at the house. Yes, ma'am.
I notice on there it says the monthly price fee ends on 9/2/17. So from last September until now, it's gone up $2.
Where are you looking at? On which slide? Oh, the first slide. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. This is a little bit outdated. It was.
No, I know. You said the
Yeah.
current one is $13.99.
No. All right. So the basic is $7.99.
No, my question is,
Yeah.
for premium,
Oh,
it's outdated. You said it was
Correct.
$11.99. That was as of last
Yeah.
September.
Actually, it's gone up from $12.99.
Oh, you said
Yeah.
$13.99 for premium.
And then it went up again.
So that's
Yeah.
$2 in less than a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it going to keep doing that?
It depends. There's a lot of factors that go into that, because especially if you, I don't want to like really go into it, but especially with net neutrality gone. Yeah.
Is it gone for sure?
Well, policies can always change, but right now it is dead right now, and it's not a good thing for that to be gone. So prices might adjust because now Netflix might have to pay more to cable companies to be able to have faster lanes. So that means they might charge you more because they have to handle all these extra fees. So it always changes. And of course, you can always cancel at any time if you don't feel like paying that much. Yeah,
When you're,
yeah, yeah,
it's just amazing that it's gone up that much so fast.
yeah.
It's going to keep, I think, with the net neutrality going.
It's possible. Or they might do something different and be able to keep it at that price.
In defense, that Netflix is one that gone a long time
Yeah, yeah. Netflix has been around for a very long time. These prices stay there from, when did they come out? Netflix? Yeah, actually, he wants to talk about that a little bit.
So yeah, also real quick with that, probably about 5 to 6 years back, they were around these prices that you're seeing here,
Yeah.
and they had gone up. They went up about $2 to $3. What they look at is their customer base. At that time, when that happened, everybody was complaining, everything was happening, so they dropped them back down to this. Now that they got a big customer base back again, they looked at it, they said we could raise the prices, so they raised the prices back up. So they're always fluctuating, going up and down. The ones that they're at right now are pretty much the highest that they've been at, and they've been at it before. So they're more likely to bring it down depending on what their customer base is saying. So we'll just have to wait and see what they do.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you decide what megabit
Oh.
speed you should buy?
Her question was, what kind of speed should you have? If you're doing any kind of streaming, especially on multiple devices, I would say go with, at the very least, 30 megabytes per second. But the thing is that most cable companies now, that's pretty much their standard lowest that they'll go now. So that's pretty much the standard. If you're not getting 30, you should probably call your cable company. Say, why am I not at this price yet? Or not price, but speed. But I would say that's the minimum you should go.
So how do you know what megabytes you have?
You just contact your Comcast or CenturyLink, whoever you're using, or you can run a speed test. It's called Google. Just go to Google and type in type in internet speed test, and it just runs its test to see how fast it is. Yes, ma'am.
And what would determine when to go to the next level if you can get away with 30 megabytes?
It depends on how many devices you have and how many you're going at once. So if you have a lot of people over constantly and they're all streaming, then you want to go higher. But if it's just you and a couple people watching Netflix every now and then, or even if it's every night, but you're only doing 1 or 2, like 30 is plenty. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make sure we stream at the same time
Mm-hmm.
on 2 different computers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think 30 is enough for that?
It should be, yeah. Mm-hmm. Like even if you have a lot of like smart devices aren't going to take up a lot of bandwidth. So they're not really using bandwidth as for speed. They're more just needing the internet to connect with each other. And that's going to be on the router to handle the devices, but that's not going to affect the speed. So it's just the streaming and how much you're downloading is going to affect speed.
Okay,
And
we don't download, all we do is
yeah.
stream.
So yeah, 30 should be fine for just 2. Yeah. Hmm? And also, if you get with Jessica, she'll also go with explaining like any kind of dead zones in your house. So streaming can be affected, or the signal can be affected, if like depending on the material in your home. So you feel like a brick wall between you and that router, it would have a real hard time getting that signal. So if you get with Jessica, she'll come out and she can show you anything like that. Mm-hmm.
Or would you recommend, we have Comcast, would you recommend their modem router, which is all-in-one, or do you have something better than?
If you don't have a lot, it should be fine. But if you have a lot of devices connected to that router, and again, tablets, phones, computers, TVs, smart devices, I would say upgrade. And
You would have something,
yeah, I would go a little bit stronger than the basic that they give you.
and you
Alright.
would know what that is, that it would be compatible with Comcast?
Yeah, so if you were to come in store, we can show you which one. All right, so we're gonna go to the next slide. So some of the benefits and cons to Netflix. So Pro, it's competitive price point. They're always trying to be pretty much the best at the price points of what can be offered. And they also have no hassle cancellations. There's no contracts, so you're not involved in cancel at any time. High quality selection of original programming. Netflix is great at original programming. That means shows that Netflix have created themselves instead of getting from other networks. And they are really good at that. In fact, they stated by the end of this year, they'll have like 1,000 shows of original programming that they've made, and they're usually really good content. I really haven't watched something that's bad. So stuff like House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, Stranger Things, Marvel shows, The Ranch, all those. There's quite a few more now. It's easily accessible. So smartphones, Apple TV, PC, smart televisions, streaming devices, tablets, anything can connect to Netflix. And like I was mentioning earlier, you can watch it at lower internet connections, whereas other streaming websites cannot. And cons though, so one of the things that they contract through other shows or the networks and stuff to get that content. So like let's say Marvel, they have a Marvel show that's there. Well, as soon as that contract ends for them leasing it, it might disappear. So off of the Netflix. So it depends on just how long they have that contract for. Will depend on how long it's there on Netflix. So they're constantly changing around what they're providing and what's new. You know, most of the time, they keep most of the stuff. So you're going to be able to find a lot of content, but you're not going to be able to find everything because they do have to compete with Hulu and Amazon for most stuff as well. And so there's no real channel surfing. So you can't just flip through channels and find what you want, but it does have a browsing area. And what's good about Netflix is that it'll monitor, not really monitor, but it'll look at what you've watched and try to give you suggested things based on what you've watched. So it does kind of like monitor and say, oh, hey, you watch this show, and it'll give you recommendations based on shows that are related to it. So that way you can find, even if you're just flipping through the browse, you can still find stuff that you would probably like. And you also will not find news-related items. So there's no news on there. There can be documentaries. They actually have a lot of good documentaries on there, but you're not going to find news. Again, I was talking about the licensing agreements. And also, one of the things is that they're not going to really have new shows like the newest season. So one of my favorite shows is Supernatural. They have 13 seasons out. They have the first 12, but they won't get the 13th season until after it's aired. So after 13 seasons aired, a little while goes, they'll get that in. But what's good is that there's no waiting. So as soon as they get it, they put all the episodes out for that season, and you can binge watch it. That's what I do, is I just binge watch all the episodes back to back. But now also some of the cons is Hulu has around, this is a little bit outdated as well. Hulu has around 10,000 titles. Netflix has around 7,000 titles. Now that's not including all the, pretty much this year's. Like I said, Netflix has said they're pumping out about 1,000 original programming, so that number is going to go up. And Amazon Prime Video has around 20,000 titles. Now, this is a little, there's a stipulation to that, which we'll go over when we get to that. All right, go ahead. All right, Hulu. Hulu is another streaming company. Disney just bought them out, so you might start finding Disney on there as well.
Disney bought it?
Yep. So for $7.99, they have limited. They have their basic showing, their basic TV shows and movies that they provide. There are ads. Well, Netflix, there's no ads, by the way. So with Netflix, you have those same 3 price points, and there's no ads in any of them. Whereas Hulu, you got your base for $7.99 that has ads, and then there's another option for $12.99 that's with no commercials.
Oh, that went up too?
Sorry, $11.99. I meant to say $12. So it's $11.99, and you don't get any commercials. Again, most streaming services have like 1 month or 2 weeks of free trial period. With Hulu, it's a month. All right, click on the next one. Again, competitive pricing. Now, one thing they do have is that you can add Showtime to it for $8.99. So you pay an extra $8.99, you get all of Showtime's content. Then they're pretty up to date on their shows. So when I was mentioning Supernatural before, they would have that episode that aired pretty much the next day. So they're pretty much, their go thing is having the latest content that's out on their site. So, but one of the things is that while they might have the latest season of Supernatural as it airs, they're not going to have like the first 7 seasons. They might only have the last 3 or 4. So they don't have everything all the way back. So if like you're trying to get in a new show and you want to catch up, Hulu's probably not going to be the way to go. So there's that. And they do have Hulu originals, but I will say they don't have as much or as good as Netflix. So, but they do have like The Handmaid's Tale, which is really good. Dimension 404, The Path. Path is excellent. Again, all major streaming devices. You can watch it pretty much anywhere. Now, and it's also heavily focused on TV shows, so you won't find as many movies. Again, I already talked about how Hulu only have the latest season, and it's got a limited movie selection compared to Amazon and Netflix. Commercials, unless you're willing to pay more to get rid of them. And their original content is not as highly rated as Amazon and Netflix. This is not so much anymore. They've pretty much, you can find them on pretty much most devices now. But when they were first coming out, you really couldn't find them as well as Netflix. Netflix comes on pretty much every device. Even Blu-ray players, you buy a Blu-ray player, Netflix is probably already on it. And Hulu is now coming out to that degree. So most devices have Hulu out now as well. I'm talking about these like how you have competing. Just know that you don't have to like pick one. I personally am signed up to both Netflix and Hulu. I have both. So you don't have to pick one. You can have both and watch both. And so even if you were just wanting Netflix and Hulu, Netflix, the highest is $13.99. The highest here is $11.99. That's a lot cheaper than just paying like $80 for cable. So just think about that. Again, just the basic Hulu does not come with news, but we will be getting into a little bit more. Go ahead. Oh, sorry. Yep.
The basic Hulu, does that automatically do HD and Ultra HD?
Oh, yes, correct. Right? They have a, yeah. So they don't have a package that does not have HD. When you buy them, anything that has HD will be offered. It's just more for commercials or not commercials. Now, Hulu now has something called Hulu Live. It's in beta still. So they're still working out tweaks and adding things and changing things, but you can sign up to them. Hulu Live actually is an actual replacement for cable. So it offers all your channels that you normally get with cable. Whereas with Netflix and regular Hulu, it's just shows that they have and movies that they offer. Whereas they don't actually have like TV channels. Hulu Live is a replacement for that. That is actual premium channels. And depending on your zip code, you can get local channels as well. It's $39.99 a month, and that includes the basic Hulu. So that means that you have your live beta with your live channels, and also has the Hulu that has all the TV shows and movies. But that's the one with ads. Now, they just recently came out with a different package, which we'll all have to add here. It's $43 a month, and that's live TV, and then the advanced version of Hulu, where it doesn't have ads on their programming. That still means, though, on their live TV, there's still going to be ads on their live channels. But like, let's say you go to their programming for their movies and shows, there won't be ads there. So this is still a stipulation. if you're paying for $43 a month, there'll still be ads. It's just specifically on the live TV channels. And there's no installation. You just sign up and have the app there to sign in. So there's no like box you have to buy or anything like that. And you can record live TV up to 50 hours. And you do have live games from major, so if anyone's with sports, college leagues including NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, and NCAA. Now, games are subject to regional availability and blackouts, so you can't, and rights are restricted to prevent live streaming NFL games on smartphones. So smartphones specifically, you cannot watch live games. If you're on TV, you can. Now, one of our questions we get a lot is there anything that provides, like to replace the Sunday ticket? No. There's nothing. They are very restricted on that. That's with DirecTV. That's specific that they have control over. Unless you're a college student, which I don't think anyone here is.
Senior college?
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, with college students, they get a thing where Sunday ticket, they can get in their area. Any questions on Hulu Live? How many devices can you stream it on? You remember? I believe on Hulu Live that you can stream it up to like 4 or 5 devices at once. Actually, I think it's 3, isn't it? He's looking it up real quick. All right, so let's go to the next slide. We'll come back to that. These are some of the channels, or pretty much the channels you get. So they do offer a lot. And it's, again, it's in beta. So these can change. They can go away or add onto it. There's going to be features that they will be changing in beta. So some of the things that they changed was in recording, when you live record it, DVR it, it wouldn't let you fast forward through them. But then they changed it and allowed it to fast forward. So so if you run into problems with live beta or Hulu Live, just remember it is a beta. Offer feedback, and they might change things. So, all right. So you have your things like ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, A&E, and again, these aren't going to list the local channels, but you can actually go to their website and put in your zip code, and it'll tell you what local channels you can get. Go to the next one. All right. So Amazon Prime. So with Amazon Prime, with just Prime Video specifically, it's $8.99 a month, and you can start a free trial. And Prime includes popular movies and TV shows, unlimited streaming of movies and TV shows, and HD, Ultra HD, and HDR video when available. So if they have it, they will offer it. But if it's not in HD, you can't. Now, one of the things I was talking about before about that 20,000 count, just because you have Amazon Prime and are paying monthly, that is for their content. While you do have access to practically every movie out there, you might have to rent them. So like you pay $3 to have it for 48 hours, or like a week, and you have 48 hours once you start to watch it. That's renting it. So that's stuff that aren't included in Prime. But you can do it, just you got to rent those ones. So that 20,000 is a little inflated, but if there are TV shows and movies that are included in the Prime subscription, that you won't have to pay extra. And they do have their own original programming, like The Man in the High Castle, really good. Okay, so for Hulu Live, you can only have 2 concurrent streaming devices. So only 2 people can be watching Hulu Live at the same time. Now that's the Hulu Live, not necessarily the basic Hulu. Yes, sir.
The ones that you pay for, are they, as a rule, newer movies or older movies? Or
Both.
hit and miss?
Pretty much practically anything you can find. Yeah, old movies. I just recently watched the original Scary Movie. That was way back. You can pretty much find movies on pretty much anything older or newer.
But the one you pay for, right?
The pay for, yeah. Now, stuff that's on the Prime Video, those are going to be like newer stuff, not necessarily old. Yeah. Go ahead. Now, Amazon Prime Video that's with Amazon Prime, because Amazon has a service called Amazon Prime, and that offers a lot more than just video services. That does include free 2-day shipping with anything you purchase off of Amazon, unlimited streaming of movies, which is already over there, ad-free music streaming on demand. You can limited listening to original audio series, anything that's just audio based, free unlimited photo storage, and free same-day delivery in eligible areas. So that includes in their Prime. And that's $10.99 a month. Sorry, it got changed this January to $12.99 per month. But again, that covers more than just your streaming. It adds a lot to their services from their website. All right. Yes, ma'am.
So with this free unlimited photo storage, how would you access that or do it?
You would download their Amazon app, and you'd pretty much upload your photos to that app or program on the computer. Mm-hmm. And now they also have Amazon Prime Video. Yeah, that one price changed as well. It's actually $119 now.
That happened
June 16th. Just 4 days ago. It's now $119. But pretty much, but if you do go with the annual plan, you do save 25% over paying a monthly fee. So you pay it once of $119 for the year, and you save money than just paying it by month. But pretty much offers the same exact services. Go ahead. All right. Included with Amazon Prime membership, you've got all those extra benefits, which music included. Amazon Prime Video has numerous channels you can actually add for additional fees. So not just their stuff, you can actually add, if you want to tag on an extra fee, so you can watch HBO channels, Showtime, Stars, Cinemax. You can add all those onto your Amazon Prime membership. Each one of those is an extra fee though. It's not like you pay one, you get all. So individually, I think HBO is like $12 a month, roughly. I think Cinemax or Showtime's like $8. So it depends if you want that or not. Again, HD content is included. Amazon originals are also high quality. Again, like The Man in the High Tower. Very limited content outside of the US, which if you're not really traveling outside the US, you're not gonna have much of a problem with that. Again, not all content you see is included, which is what I was mentioning before. You need to have a Prime banner. So there's gonna be like a banner saying Amazon Prime, and it'll list the shows and movies that's included. And then the next banner down, if it doesn't say Amazon Prime, then those are not included. And then, again, not most devices don't automatically come with the Amazon app already installed. Like Blu-ray players. Blu-ray players are going to have Netflix. Not all of them are going to have Amazon. But depending on the service, like if it's like a Sony, you can always just go to the App Store on the device and tell it to download. So it's probably offered, just not automatically installed on purchase. Any questions about Amazon? All right, good. All right, so out of everything covered, this is what I believe to be like the real competition with actually replacing cable with a similar cable, and that's PlayStation Vue. They have multiple packages. And again, if you're familiar with PlayStation, generally you think of a gaming console, like the PlayStation 2, 3, 4. You can have Vue completely separate from that. You don't have to have a PlayStation console to watch it. You just put the app on your phone, TV, or anything like that. Now they have 4 different packages, and you can add on to those. So the basic package, and again, they have a 5-day free trial on any package, is the Access, which is the basic, which is your popular live TV channels, which is $39.99 a month. Then the next one up is the Core, which is $44.99, and that's sports plus popular live TV. And then the next package up is Elite, which is $54.99, which will add in movie channels as well. And then Ultra, $74.99, includes premium channels, sports, movies. And if you ever want to add in extra content, that's what these are. You can add in. Now, except with Ultra, ignore these with Ultra. Ultra includes some of these. I believe if you get the Ultra package, you get HBO, as well as, I believe, Cinemax. Either Cinemax or Showtime, which I have on the next slide, I believe. But I wanted to go over, if you might be looking at these plus signs. If you ever done anything with PlayStation, a gaming console, there's a thing called PlayStation Plus, where you can subscribe to that, and you pay a monthly fee, and you get like games and movies, like priced off. So instead of paying $60 for a game, you could pay either free or $30 if you're a PlayStation Plus member, and that's what this Plus is. So if you're a PlayStation Plus member, these are your prices instead of paying the regular. That's what that is. So you can have any one of these basic packages, like if you want to just do Access, but you want to include HBO, you can put the $15 to do HBO on top of that. Go to the next slide. PlayStation Vue has a ton of channels, and again, you can always go to their website and put in your zip code, and it'll tell you all the local channels you get. And like I said, this particular view is if you're doing the third package and up. The basic and core, you're going to have some channels that are grayed out on this list, but this is if you have everything unlocked. These are all the channels you can have. All right, go ahead. Actually, before I cover antennas, some things about PlayStation Vue that does include the NFL Red Zone. So if you are interested in that, that does have NFL Red Zone. You can add on to it. And I believe that is included in the premium, actually. You can stream 5 devices concurrently. So with PlayStation Vue, you can have 5 TVs going, or 2 TVs, and 2 phones, all at the same time. You can also store unlimited amount of DVR recordings. So it doesn't matter how many hours you record, up to 500 programs. But it does only last 28 days. So you have 28 days to watch it before they unrecord. They also have profiles. So you can have up to 10 separate profiles signed in. So it's just like, hey, this is me, and then you can have one for your wife or husband, and another for like grandchildren or anything like that. And what those profiles do is, again, like based on what you're watching, it could add like recommendations based on your viewing. And also, if you do DVR content and you want to record, it'll record based on that profile. So if you don't want to look at stuff that another person's watching, you record on your profile and they record on their profile. And also with PlayStation Vue, you can set it to record the whole show and seasons and not just with a specific episode, stuff like that. Which I think with Hulu Live, you have like limited amount, like it's limited on based on what you can record, tell it to record. Whereas Vue, you got a lot more options. All right. Now, Antennas. I highly don't recommend antennas, but if you decide to go with one, it's got to be at least a minimum of a 60-mile antenna in this area. 70 and above is much better. It can pick up anywhere between 36 and 42 channels, but included in those channels are going to be worship channels, Spanish channels, old-time movie channels. So out of the 36 to 42, 10 to 12 or more might be channels from Spanish channels or worship channels, stuff like that. So it's not, to me, it's not that great of an idea to replace cable with when you're very limited on what you get. Also, the antenna needs to be facing the southeast and above the tree line. And always check with your HOA. While they can't legally tell you to remove it, you'll probably get hassled by them. So just make sure to check with them if you decide to go with the antenna.
What about a portable, an indoor antenna?
The digital ones,
Yeah.
I really haven't read up too much about those. I'll have to see. If there's any questions we can't answer right now, just see us after class and we can look it up. Yep.
Cost of antenna to purchase?
They range from like 60 to 70 and up.
About $60 to $70 or up. All right. All right, Sling TV. It's a service that allows subscribers to watch live TV and on-demand TV. So pretty much just like we've been talking about with PlayStation Vue and Hulu Live, you get access. There's like 3 different packages to offer, and it gives you actual live program TV. So like AMC, NBC, stuff like that. And again, Hulu Live, Sling TV, PlayStation Vue, these are where you can get your like news, whereas Amazon, regular Hulu, and Netflix doesn't have news. Now, just know when we say that, practically all news channels have their own apps for TVs. So you can always go to your TV, especially if it's a smart TV, go to its store, and there's probably your news channels app is in there that you can download. Or put it on your phone, and you can still read or watch the news on your phone based on their app. So even if that's like a killer for you that these aren't offering news channels, those news channels have branched out and put things where you can still watch it. So just know that for your recommendations of what you're trying to decide if you want to get rid of the cable. And sports as well. Pretty much every major sports network has their own apps. So, Sling TV, again, it is owned by Dish Network, but it's operated separately. So their operation is completely different from Dish. They're just owned by them. It's only available in the United States. And it's a cheaper alternative to most TV services. It only requires a good internet connection and a compatible device to run the required app. No contracts, cancel anytime. Think of it as Netflix, but with live TV. Good. So they have Sling Orange and Sling Blue. And then they have a third package that kind of combines both of them. With Sling Orange, it's $20 a month. It's an a la carte TV and pretty much offers these channels right here. And then you can also personalize your selection by, again, for extra fee, you could tack on Showtime, HBO, stuff like that. The reason why you have to tack those on for most of these is that they offer their own app that you have to pay for. So like, let's say if you got rid of cable, I personally signed up for HBO. So I can just go to HBO's website or HBO Now. Their app is called HBO Now, and watch all their HBO's content. Same thing with Showtime. They all have their own content, and that's why if you don't sign up through a cable provider and you do something like this, that's why you have to tack those on, because you're having to pay extra for the HBO because they're charging.
How about local channels with Sling?
Same thing. They do offer local channels just based on your zip code. go to the next one. Sling Blue. It's $25 a month, and you get extra channels, more variety of channels. And also includes Fox regional sports and NBC regional sports where available as well. So if you do want sports, you can get a little bit more with the Sling Blue. Oh. Yeah. So then one that's not listed here, it's called, doesn't really have a name, but it is it's the Sling Orange and Blue combined together, and it's $40 a month.
Is that the Sling Extra?
Yeah.
We got it in here.
Well, no, this is the Sling Extra are things you can add on to whatever package you get. So if you do Sling Orange, these are the extras you could pay per month to get. So even if you do the Sling Orange, you could pay $10 a month for their sports. Whereas Sling Blue comes with sports, but it's limited in the sports you get, which was just NBC and Fox regional. So
And you, okay, so the combined orange and blue, how much is that?
that one's $40, and that includes everything that you get from both. Because there's some channels in orange that you don't get in blue, and there's some in blue that you don't get in orange. So if you're looking at Sling TV, just read up on their site and see what channels you get from them and compare and see what you like, or just do both and get the package that includes everything. And again, these are the extra prices you pay to tack on extra onto any package you decide. All right, any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Are these extra TV channels, are they recordable if you have?
I think that's what Sling TV, right? Like the Sling Box?
That belongs to the cable
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just trying to, yeah. I don't believe you have DVR recording with Sling, but I'm gonna continue on. He's gonna look it up, and I'm gonna let you know, okay? All right, go ahead and hit the next slide. Oh, all right. Sling Box is a little bit different. So what it is like, especially if you're a snowbird, what it is that it's an actual box that lets you watch and control your TV from any device in a process called place shifting. What that means is that, let's say you want to keep with your cable company and you're paying it up north, and you come down south and you don't want to. No, Sling TV, it's $5 a month for DVR recording, and it's all cloud-based. There's no extra box. So let's say you don't want to pay a second cable bill for when you're down south. What Sling Box does is that you have it installed and it place shifts what you watch, the cable up north to the box down south. So you only have to pay one cable company. And you get all those channels that you're paying for up north, down south. One thing though is that only one person can be watching it at a time. So if you have like grandchildren up north, they're trying to watch it and you're trying to watch it, it ain't gonna work. Now, again, the Sling Player is the app that you watch. So you install the box up north and you put the app on your TV or your tablet or your phone, and that's where you watch it, which is Sling Player. The Sling Box, the basic one, is $99.99, but it does not include HD. The Sling Box 500, which is $299.99, which includes HDMI connectors, so you do get HD content. Any questions on the Sling Box? Now, again, that's nothing to do with the Sling TV. Same company, just Sling Box is a little bit different from the actual Sling TV. All right, so now we're going to go over streaming devices. So again, like let's say you're on an old TV that's not smart, and so it doesn't have all these apps. These are streaming devices that allows you to turn your old TV into a smart TV. Google Chromecast has an HDMI connection, so you can get HDMI content. You set it up once, and it goes based off your Wi-Fi connection. So literally, you have this that plugs in an HDMI port on TV, and this is for power. And those are the only cables you'll need, and it runs off of a Wi-Fi connection. And you set it up on your phone or tablet, and once it's set up, you're good to go. What it does is it casts what you're watching on a device to your television. So if you have Netflix installed on your smartphone, you can cast that to the TV using the Chromecast. So inside the app, it'll have a button that you click, and whatever you put the name as for this device, and you just click on that name, and it ports what you're watching on your phone to the TV. Or on a tablet, if you're doing Hulu, Netflix, or anything like that. Now, there are several different versions. You got the $35 one, that's just regular HD. And then if you do 4K content, you'll need to do the $70 one. That's a one-time price for the hardware. So you just pay the $70 once for the Ultra, and it can handle 4K content. Now, just because this can handle 4K content, and just because you're paying for 4K content, does not mean your TV can handle 4K content. So specifically, if you want 4K, your TV is going to have to be able to handle 4K. So if it can't, there's no need to buy this one, unless you're planning for the future. You want to pay for it now if you're deciding to get a 4K in the future. All right. Go ahead. All right, Apple TV. It's not an actual TV. It's just a little box that you connect to your TV. Comes with a remote. It has an HDMI connection. So pretty much, it's just like just like the Google Chromecast, where it connects with your Apple iPhone or your Apple iPad, and whatever you're watching on there, it can connect it to your TV. But it does more than just what you're watching. It can also mirror whatever so if you're playing a game, you can go to the Apple TV on the phone and tell it to put your game on the television. So you can really see it. And it has its own controller with voice search capabilities. The newer, if you happen to have the old version of the Apple TV, you can't do it, but with the new versions of the Apple TV, it has built-in apps now. So you can put Netflix, YouTube, Hulu, and things like that already onto the device instead of having to cast it from your phone or your tablet. And so you just, on the remote, go to your TV, Apple TV, and click on Netflix to watch. And that's $149.99. Any questions on Apple? Now, specifically, that works with Apple devices. You have a Samsung phone, it's not going to work with your Apple TV. On casting, again, it has new versions, has the built-in apps now, so you can have the apps on it. All right.
So you said newer TVs have the apps?
No, the newer Apple TV, the little box.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Roku. Roku has several different versions. You got 7 actually. Roku is a little bit different. So you can get a Roku TV. Roku TV will have all the apps built into it. It's just a regular TV that just happens to have Roku built in. Or you get a little device, same with the Chromecast and things like that. It's a little stick that you plug into an HDMI port on the TV and but what it does is that when you set it up, you choose what apps you want to go onto it, and it puts those apps onto the device. So there you're not casting from a phone or anything. It's on the device itself. And you just use the remote, go to your Roku stick, and click on Netflix, and you can watch Netflix or Hulu or whatever the case may be. But the thing is that they have a lot more apps available on the Roku than compared to, like, say, Apple TV. So a lot of your news apps will be there, sports apps, stuff like that. So what it is during the setup process, it asks you to go to a computer, create an account with Roku, and you choose what apps you want, and it'll download it to that stick. So it does offer a lot more than what like an Apple TV will have. Roku Express, Roku Express Plus, those are in Roku Streaming Stick. Those are just for regular HD content. The Roku Premiere, Premiere Plus, and Ultra includes 4K. And if you're getting really advanced, Premiere Plus and Ultra only ones that include HDR as well, which is like a technology that allows blacks to really be black, whites to be really white. It's a lot more vivid colors for HDR content. Again, your TV has to be able to handle that though. But if your TV can handle it, you can have this. And you might be thinking, if you have such a new TV, why do you need the Roku? Again, when I was talking about all those apps might not have a service agreement to work on that specific TV. So I won't say this is true, but I'm giving it as an example. Like a Sony TV, it might not have a license agreement to handle, we'll just say Hulu. It does, but it may, let's say it didn't. You would need another device to be able to watch Hulu on that TV. So if like your news channels and stuff that you can't just go to the Sony store on the TV, it might not be offered there. Whereas with the Roku stick, it might be offered there, and you can watch it through that. So that'd be a reason why you might want to do that. So, all right, go ahead into the next. Oh, go ahead.
So one thing I wanted to go over as well is there is an actual reason to having this many, not just these three do this and three do this. The Express and Express Plus are the basic ones. They'll get you your channels. They're not that powerful. When you're loading into apps and things like that, if you're doing it for a long period of time without shutting it off, you might experience some lag, some buffering. Versus when you go up to the streaming stick, it does have a more powerful processor in it. So it is a little bit snappier. It can go into things quicker. It can open your Netflix or Hulu faster. The Premiere is the first one that adds the actual box where you can put an SD card into it. So say you take a lot of videos or pictures and things like that and you want to show them to somebody, you can actually put your SD card right into the box and show it off through that. The Premiere Plus and the Ultra both add on headphones to the remote, meaning if you want to listen to something and you don't want anybody else to hear it, you can plug headphones into the remote control itself, put them in, and only you will be able to hear it. So there are some differences when it actually comes to the physical hardware as well. They vary. They start at about 30 when you're looking at the Express and can go up to, I believe, 130 to 150 for like the Ultra. But they vary quite a bit. And then there are different Roku TVs, as the first one saying, and those vary depending on size and quality and things like that.
Any questions? All right. All right. Same thing kind of with the Amazon Fire TV. It's a device you plug into one of the ports on your TV, and you could do live streaming available from their box. Now, of course, this is with having an Amazon Prime membership, though. You could do HBO Now, NFL, Cartoon Network. So there are channels available when you're signed up with their Prime membership, and that you can watch straight through the box. And the actual device is $89.99 and comes with a remote that's with voice control. And of course, it has the built-in apps for Netflix, Hulu, and stuff like that. And those you don't have to have an Amazon Prime membership with. And again, it integrated with Sling TV. So let's say you're doing Sling TV, you can put the app for Sling TV on the Fire Stick. So if you have an old TV, you would need something like that. Yes, ma'am.
Can you put the Sling TV app on Apple TV?
Yes. Yep. All right. That's it. Anyone have any questions? Yes. Yes, ma'am.
We have an older version of Apple TV, so
Mhm.
the apps that we have on there, that's all we'll ever have.
That'll depend on them, whether they can update it to do that. It'll depend on, one, the space it has, if it can be able to have enough space to handle the new apps. They might need like firmware updates, but it's possible. And plus, with that, like any apps, you can put on your phone as well, or your iPad, and just stream it right off the device, that device, if it's not on the actual box with the Apple TV. Yes, ma'am.
When you say old television, yeah.
Not CRTs, the big CRT boxes, no, not those. When it's any TV that has an HDMI port, but does not have smart capabilities, where it has, what I mean by smart, is has its own app or like service on the TV itself to where you can get those apps. So
It doesn't have the apps and it's
that's the old TV, yeah. Yeah. So if it's not a smart TV, but it does need a HDMI connection.
Very good,
Thank you. Anything else? All right.